Hi, this is Sam Goldberg and Matt Lefkowitz for the Zero Period IB Spanish News channel here today with our bilingual guest, Lucia Bertero. Lucia, would you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Lucia Bertero. I was born here in California. I speak 2 languages and I go to Sequoia.
Now, Lucia, what 2 languages do you speak?
I speak English and Spanish. Both of my parents are from Argentina, so they have been very adamant about me being able to speak 2 languages.
Now, when and how did you learn these 2 languages?
I learned both of them when I was really young. My first language was Spanish. We grew up with both my parents being Argentinian, and they had their friends, a close group of friends who were also all Argentinian, and their children also were spoken to in Spanish, and so that's how we all learned the language together.
Alright, so you learned Spanish first and then English once you enter school?
Yeah, when I started going to preschool when my younger brother was born, that's when I began learning English, and just being in preschool and in school, that's how I learned how to speak English.
Now, was the process the same for your younger siblings, or?
I think it was easiest for me and my middle brother, Julian, because when we were born and when we were talking to each other, neither of us knew English. It was just all Spanish all the time. But then when my other brother was born a few years later, we had already learned or started speaking English around each other, around our friends. So he wasn't as immersed in the Spanish language as we were. So I think it's harder for him to speak Spanish.
This is a popular question submitted by our viewers. What language do you think in?
I usually think in English. Sometimes when we spend a lot of time in Argentina, I begin thinking in Spanish just from being around everyone else speaking Spanish.
So you really think it's the environment that affects...
Yeah, I do. Even like when I'm at home and my mom is speaking to me a lot in Spanish and then my friends are speaking to me a lot in English, sometimes I get them confused just from having the 2 different, influences at once.
Now, what would you say are the benefits of being able to speak 2 or more languages?
It's a lot easier to communicate with so many more people. Like recently I went to, a few years ago I went to Italy to visit my cousin, and I spoke English and Spanish. Her boyfriend, my cousin, spoke Spanish and Italian, and her boyfriend spoke Italian and knew a little bit of Spanish. So within the 3 of us, just having 3 different languages and some of us speaking 2 of them or just 1, we could find a way to communicate all with each other, and it wouldn't have been possible if I couldn't speak 2 languages. It just allows you to talk to so many more people and learn a lot more.
So do you think global communications would be easier if everyone was bilingual, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely... Okay, personally, I don't know why there isn't just one world language, but yeah, being able to speak multiple languages really does help. Just talking and communicating with everyone.
So during the process of learning a second language, and maybe learning some of both at the same time, what made it harder or easier to learn a second language?
It made it really easy because like I said, we were in a little group, our little Argentinian group. We were all kind of learning the 2 languages together at the same time. So it was easy to just have a group of people that you could just kind of go back to, and I don't know, they would be at the same place kind of in the process of learning language. So
what were some of the challenges that you faced learning a second language, and how were you able to overcome them?
I was definitely weird not being able to, going to preschool and not having everyone there speak Spanish. I thought it was kind of strange, oh, why can't you understand me? But after a while I kind of got used to it, and yeah, it's just something that you adapt to, and then once you start learning their language, then it gets easier, just the more you know.
Now, what would you say to someone who is interested in learning a second language? I'm assuming you'd definitely be supportive of their interest?
Yeah, I think it's a great thing to be able to do. I admire people who can speak multiple languages. I think it's really cool. But yeah, I think the easiest way to learn a language is to be immersed in it. Just going to, I mean, it's kind of difficult to do sometimes, but just going to a country and surrounding yourself with people who only speak that language, because then you're forced to, and there's no other way that you can communicate.
Do you have any other tips for anyone who is learning a second language besides going to a country where the language is spoken?
Yeah, definitely just surrounding yourself with other people who can speak that language or who want to learn just as much as you do, and just getting together in groups with them and learning languages. My cousin, who is here, some of you might have met him, he would go to a group in Argentina where they would just meet with a bunch of other people around his age from the city, and they would just hang out and just speak English for a few hours, and that was just the goal of what they were doing, just so that they can get better. And then when he got here, there was a group that he and some other people that he had been in contact with that he started in San Francisco, where people would just go and speak Spanish just to practice. So groups like that, or just friends, or I don't know, other people that you know that speak the language, just talking with them really helps.
So say finding a way to immerse yourself in the second language is definitely the best way to practice and to learn.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, Lucia.
Thank you.